Hey, welcome home. This is Mountain Home and I'm Jerrel. I'm going to help you learn the Autoharp. Today we are going to focus on your path of travel for your chords. The Autoharp is very different from other instruments in that in order to play a chord, you have to find the specific button on the body of the instrument here. You find the button with the chord on it. Now, when it comes to instruments with a neck like the guitar, the banjo, the mandolin, you can basically form any chord shape from anything. You can transition from a G to a D. Either way, you don't really have to plan it out. But on the Autoharp, you have to plan out your path of travel. So let's say, for example, we'll take the chorus of Take Me Home Country Roads. When it comes to the body of the instrument and your strings, I want you to consider 4 zones. First, you split the instrument in half when it comes to the string. So we have half here, and then we'll split that in half again. So you have 4 zones. You have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And when you are playing, you need to consider playing in one of those zones. Target one of the 4 zones. So we'll consider Country Roads. It goes G, and we'll use our middle finger and our thumb to pinch as our most basic pinch. We won't use our pointer finger yet. So we'll go 1, 2, 1, 2. So it goes G, D. So what's important, take a look at my left hand where I am pressing the chord buttons. Don't pay attention so much to my right hand. But if you look, I start with my pointer finger on G because I'm considering what chord is coming next. You always have to plan out your path of travel because if you do it wrong, so let's say that I started on a G with my ring finger here. Watch what happens. The only natural other finger I can reach that with is D for a smooth transition. I'll have to press D with my pinky. And in general, that's not very comfortable. And in general, I basically never use my pinky finger because you have to push pretty hard and it gets really uncomfortable on that. So I basically just use these 3. I don't use the pinky. And if I do that, so let's say I end up on D with the pinky, then it's tougher to reach that E minor because after the D, we have the E minor. So you need to consider your stretch. The stretch is the distance you have to travel from one chord button to the next in order to perform a smooth chord transition. What you want to aim for is a smooth, seamless chord transition. On guitar, you can fudge things a little bit when you are strumming because you know there's certain points where you can strum a certain way in between chord changes and it will sound okay. But let's say that I only use my pointer finger, right? Let's see what happens if I try to transition from the chords with just one finger. And this is an example of not having a smooth transition from chords. You hear the clattering and the dissonance because I'm striking when no button is being pressed. And that is occurring because I did not plan out my path of travel. So when you are playing a song, what it takes to plan your path of travel is to think of the next chord and to use a finger that will allow you to have a comfortable stretch. So let's see that if I start with G on my pointer finger here, my middle finger goes to D. That allows me to use my ring finger because I'm thinking about the next chord. What is the next chord? After D, I know that I have to go to E minor, and my ring finger has a pretty comfortable stretch. You want basically no gap when it comes to time for pressing the next button. And I've used my thumb to get to that C. See, I've had a comfortable stretch here from the E minor to the C. And that allows me to reset at the beginning of the phrase, and I have my pointer finger, and I can go back to the G. And then my ring finger on the E minor, and my thumb can go to the C. So let's take a look at the most simplest terms. Now we will just explain very, very simple strumming if you want. When you want to strum on this, use your thumb to go up. And you can see I'm staying on zone 1 because when you want a pretty nice sort of percussive hit, and it's a little bit like a guitar strum, you dig deep into zone 1 here. And then on the back end of that, so it's up and then down. You see I've clipped some of zone 2 with my middle finger. If I were to just strum zone 1, see it's quite dull, right? But if you use your thumb for zone 1 and then down strum with your middle finger, on the next beat you get an oom-pa. Otherwise you get oom, 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 oom. You want oom-pa, oom-pa, oom-pa. So it's zone 1 with my thumb, zone 2 with my middle finger. Now in general, you'll never want to strum back with your thumb because that'll rip your pick right out of your thumb. So now we'll consider again Tom Dooley is very simple, and that's an example where you don't really need to plan out because it's just 2 chords. But still, I generally start with the pointer finger. Hang down your head, Tom Dooley. Hang down your head and cry. That's my middle finger on there. Hang down your head, Tom Dooley. Oh boy, you're bound to die. So you see we have a smooth transition from chord to chord. What makes a transition smooth? It is smooth if there is no length of time, there's no gap of time in between the button presses. And lastly, there is the button noise. This is something that we need to consider as Autoharp players, but we can discuss that another day after you let this soak in. So I want you to find a song that you enjoy, look up the chords online, you can just look up the guitar chords and play based off those. And I want you to consider planning out your path of travel. You really only need to consider just the next chord. So, lastly, I want to discuss the button transfer. Now, sometimes you will have to do a button transfer. So let's say you have a path of travel, and then you've ended up where you've done that, and now your pointer finger, or maybe you've had to use your thumb for C. So you go from E minor, and then you have a stretch where you go to C. So you see my thumb is on C, but let's say the next chord is F. F is here. And again, we don't want lift off where we have an uneven, there's a gap now. So you see I've gone from C, I've lifted my thumb up and gone to F. That's not a smooth transfer because we might still need to be playing and we could end up striking on the way to F. And the way you do that is with a button transfer. So let's say I have my ring finger on E minor, my thumb on C. We transfer the button by using another finger. Have a look here. Take my pointer finger, and what I'll do is it'll also occupy the C button. So I have both, my thumb is on the C button, and then my pointer finger goes to that C button, and I transfer it across. You see that? So for a split second, both fingers are on the button, and I'm transferring. So that allows me a smooth transition. So now I can go. Okay, so I want you to consider that. Plan your path of travel, and if your stretches are too uncomfortable, if their stretches are too long, then you need to consider your path of travel in a way that would be more comfortable for you. And if you happen to run out of ways to travel, if your options for travel have been exhausted, then use a button transfer. Again, you see my thumb is on the C. I'm going to put my pointer finger on that and transfer. And you don't hear it because it's smooth. And now I have my thumb available to go to F. Okay, I hope this lesson has been useful to you. And if you're interested in learning more about the Autoharp, please feel free to stick around. Take care of yourselves, be well, play some music, and come home again soon, and I'll leave the porch light on for you.